estimated to be about $100 million more dollars than if we relocate and start from the ground up at a new site. The executive committee convened a group of civic leaders, including Dan Ritchie, Hank Brown, and several other individuals, and we briefed them on all the facts. We briefed them on the pressures and constraints under which we operate. We had many meetings over a 3-month period. They came back with the proposition and said, we don't see how you can stay where you are. They asked if we or I would support a motion on the table of this group, and I said, I would encourage you not to do that because we still have much work to do before we put that specific plan and that issue and that recommendation of changing and moving our location on the table. They said we'd like some more development of a business plan. Toward that end, we engaged in discussions with the International Speedway Corporation, of which you're all well aware. They're kind of the first cousin to NASCAR. They had expressed real interest in coming to Denver metro area. They continue to be interested in coming to Denver. And we saw that as a very synergistic relationship because of their huge activity in the summer and our significant January and spring activity. However, the crash of 2008 came and they have quietly pulled back. We were approached by Gaylord Entertainment out of Nashville, Tennessee, about 1.5 years, almost 2 years ago. They said, we would like to come to Denver, the Denver area, and in so doing, we'd like to create some kind of relationship or activity with National Western. We saw that as a very harmonious relationship and possible alliance. And there were many people in leadership in Denver who agreed with that point. And so we were joint supporters and partners, if you will, with Denver and Aurora in submitting the regional tourism application, which was submitted to the state of Colorado and due July 1. And that's when the fun started. People, I think some well-intentioned, well-meaning people erupted and said, how can you leave Denver? How can you lift up and propose to move? And my response and our response, because this is an institutional position, it's not Pat Grant himself, was going through all these challenges we have, going through the difficulties of overcoming those challenges. And we came to the question, and the critical question of who and what do we want to be? And we look at who and what we want to be. People sort of encapsulate, if you will, our being, our identity as a January rodeo, stock show, horse show, and being the best at that, and we think we are. But I would suggest we need to step back and take the broader vision. and view this not as a problem, not as a difficulty, not as an enormous challenge politically, but say, how do we create an opportunity for change? And in doing so, I've got to look back with some of the people and to some of the people in this room that have been critical decision makers, opinion leaders over a period of time. And one such member is back here, and his name is Bill Hornby. Bill Hornby has been a spokesman and an advocate for our Western heritage. And I will tell you that I think that broader vision of being a center for America's Western heritage is an exciting, bold, courageous vision for us to take. And not just keep us in this box of, you've always been there, you can repair a few buildings, you can change this, change that. It's much bigger because it speaks to the cultural identity of what makes Denver, indeed, international and cosmopolitan city that I assume and we all assume we love and want to describe us. But at the end of the day, we are also a major outpost for what the American West stands for. And in that vision, we foresee building much more activity year-round, building more of a Western cultural center year-round, building connections with Denver Public Schools, critical connections with the young, reaffirming our long relationship with Carter State University and their agriculture and livestock orientation. And thinking of the Western art and Western history portrayed in art that was an important part of the Rotary for years, and continuing that momentum and that culture and that thinking of Western art through Denver Art Museum. So where are we today and how do we go forward? We've been in discussions with the city leadership, and after the initial burst of concern about us relocating to Aurora, and I'd be happy to talk about that as a whole separate issue, the city withdrew the application for us to relocate to ground in Aurora because they wanted, and I think this is legitimate, they wanted to see more options and alternative study. One of their questions is, why can you not stay here? And so what we've developed and submitted as part of a business plan in the last 3 weeks is about a 450-page document that contains a business plan, contains a facilities plan, and contains a financing plan. And we do bring up the advantages and strengths of an alliance or partnership with an organization like Gaylord. And before it gets political, we've said, look at these facts first, please. City auditor was very upset. We've had some interesting meetings, heated discussion. And we've said, and I've said, make this a facts-based decision. Make sure you understand the facts before you make preliminary quick judgments on what we ought to do or not do.